Bobby the Brain Heenan worked with some of the biggest stars in wrestling history, but there was one man he truly couldn't stand: the Ultimate Warrior. Heenan's disdain for Warrior wasn't just a matter of personal preference. It stemmed from Warrior's reckless in-ring style, lack of respect for his peers, and the lasting injuries Heenan suffered because of him. While Heenan was known for his sharp wit and willingness to poke fun at wrestlers, his hatred for Warrior was completely genuine, and he never shied away from making it known. One of Heenan's biggest complaints about the Ultimate Warrior was that he was dangerous to work with. Warrior had an unmatched intensity, sprinting to the ring, shaking the ropes, and delivering high-impact moves with wild energy. But that energy often translated into recklessness. Unlike seasoned professionals who took pride in protecting their opponents and managers, Warrior would often be too stiff, too aggressive, and completely unaware of how much force he was using. One infamous moment that cemented Heenan's hatred occurred during a match where Warrior yanked Heenan hard by the back of his suit coat. The pull was so violent that it seriously injured Heenan's neck, aggravating an existing condition. Heenan later revealed that he had warned Warrior beforehand to be careful, as he had suffered a previous neck injury. Warrior either ignored the warning or didn't care. The result was a painful experience that Heenan never forgave him for. Heenan was a firm believer in wrestling tradition and respect for veterans. He had spent decades in the business as a manager, wrestler, and commentator, and he expected younger talent to show appreciation for those who paved the way. But Warrior wasn't that kind of guy. He wasn't a traditionalist, and he didn't seem to care about the history of the business or the veterans who made it what it was. Heenan often criticized Warrior for being in it for himself, a bodybuilder turned wrestler who didn't love the business but simply used it as a vehicle for fame and fortune. Warrior's reputation backstage was that of a man who didn't socialize with the locker room, didn't listen to advice, and was impossible to reason with. He had frequent clashes with promoters, including Vince McMahon, and he was known for making outrageous demands for money and creative control. Heenan was also a perfectionist when it came to the art of wrestling. He respected wrestlers who could tell a story in the ring, execute crisp moves, and adapt to different opponents. Warrior, however, was the complete opposite. While he had an impressive physique and a unique look, he was not a great wrestler by any means. His matches were often repetitive, and his promo style, filled with incoherent, over-the-top ramblings, didn't impress Heenan. On commentary, Heenan never missed a chance to poke fun at Warrior, even beyond his usual heel persona. When Warrior was at the top of the WWF, Heenan would sarcastically question his intelligence, his strategy in the ring, and even the way he spoke. While Heenan's jabs were mostly in character, there was an undeniable undertone of real resentment in his voice whenever he talked about Warrior. If there was ever a moment that solidified Heenan's pure hatred for Warrior, it came years later, long after both men had left the WWF. In 2002, Bobby Heenan was diagnosed with throat cancer, a disease that robbed him of his voice and drastically altered his appearance. Despite his struggles, Heenan remained beloved by wrestling fans and continued to make public appearances when possible. However, in 2011, Warrior released a shocking and heartless rant in which he mocked Heenan's battle with cancer. In a video tirade against several wrestling personalities, Warrior took a particularly cruel jab at Heenan, saying,
"Karma is coming to collect. You think the money you made is going to buy you a few more days? I don't feel sorry for you at all."
This was seen as beyond the boundaries of wrestling feuds and deeply personal. Even those who disliked Warrior were stunned by his lack of empathy. The wrestling world largely condemned Warrior's remarks, rallying around Heenan and expressing their support for the Brain. Even before Warrior's cruel comments, Heenan never held back his real thoughts about him. In various shoot interviews, Heenan called Warrior the worst person he ever worked with, and referred to him as a rotten human being. While Heenan often exaggerated for entertainment value, his words about Warrior always had a sense of raw, genuine contempt. In his later years, Heenan's health continued to decline, but he remained a respected and beloved figure in the wrestling world. Warrior, on the other hand, was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2014 and tragically passed away just days later. Despite their differences, WWE ultimately honored Warrior's contributions to the business, but for Heenan, the bad blood between them was never erased. Bobby Heenan's hatred for the Ultimate Warrior wasn't just a case of personal dislike. It was built on years of frustration, injuries, and a fundamental clash of philosophies. Heenan believed in professionalism, storytelling, and respect for the business, while Warrior was an uncontrollable force who ignored tradition and put himself above everyone else. When Warrior's comments about Heenan's cancer surfaced, it sealed their legacy as one of the most bitter, non-kayfabe feuds in wrestling history. In the end, Heenan's opinions about Warrior never changed. To him, Warrior wasn't just a bad worker, he was the worst person he ever had to deal with in wrestling. And coming from one of the greatest minds in the industry, that's saying a lot. Well, folks, that's it on the Ultimate Warrior / Bobby the Brain Heenan feud. I hope you enjoyed it, and if there's anything you think I missed or could have extended on, please drop a comment below. If you are new here and liked the video, hit the subscribe button and press the notifications so you will get informed on the next video release. Go on, I'll wait while you do it. Done? Great. Thanks for your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.